for YouTube later. Fish, by the way, from the formerly of the Fish and Heather show on the program. In the interview on All Access, it made it sound like you two had never worked, you and Heather had never worked together before, and that they never introduced you two during the process.
No, and it was a weird thing. Not only did we never work before, but they wanted me to be lead mic on the show, and corporate hired her before me. You know, there was the first mistake right out of the gate, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What, that they got her first, but they wanted you to be the lead mic. So what does that create tension? You got to understand, I've only worked, like I've been lucky enough to work for small radio companies, and that was by design. I didn't want to deal with the bullshit you had to deal with. What does that create? Does that create some kind of tension, or how does that work?
No, I wouldn't say it created much tension. I was willing to roll with the flow. I was excited to take the gig. You know, I'm from here. I've worked at this station before, back in like 2002. I did afternoons there when we had Mancow in the morning. And so I was comfortable going in. My program director was there when I was there, so they knew what they were getting when they hired me. And things over the past few weeks have taken a drastic turn. Just continual beatdowns by corporate. But the corporate slugs that don't even fucking, can I swear or no?
You can. I mean, we got some people at work, they get mad at us when we drop F-bombs, so we save those for the evening shows, but we drop them too, so go ahead. Okay. You know what? Fish, Fish, you are on a throne of bones at the moment. Yes. You have carte blanche to say whatever you want on this pro. Go nuts.
This is very cool.
Look, these fucking corporate slugs beat the hell out of both of us, and that's the sad state of radio these days, and it is literally going to kill live and local. And my whole reason for I got the Des Moines Register calling me up. They hit me up yesterday. They want an interview. You know, they did a piece about that whole Steel Toe morning show when that happened back in November or early December. They did an interview with us.
Yeah,
they want the follow-up interview, and I'm going to give it to them, and I'm going to rate Saga Communications like El Presidente rates a pizza.
Oh, my God.
Oh, okay. El Presidente. That's funny because for the death of the Fish and Heather show, we did a Dave Portnoy. We did open some champagne this morning.
That's incredible.
Nice.
For the whole thing. Correct. And again, I want to make it clear, it's not personal against you because you said you were fuck radio, you can't stand it. That's part of the reason we did it. It's nice to see that a guy who was so integral in our history ended up reaching out to us and going, you were right, this business is bullshit. So the minute you said that, you won me over. And also,
for sure.
You were never the issue in this whole deal. I want to go through this in order because I'm the kind of monkey who will just jump all over the place and never get anything done. The day this whole thing happened, let me, since we're talking to you directly, I just kind of want to lay out what our side of it was. Our company, we'd been number one in St. Cloud for a couple of years at this point. And the numbers, I mean, we were doing 40 shares, men 18 to 34. It was gross. And that's
crazy.
Yeah, our company started saying, well, we're going to syndicate you guys. We're going to syndicate you guys. While we got a hot hand here, we're going to ride it. There's so many places that want to find that male audience. We're going to get you out. Well, they weren't doing anything. So what we decided, half as a joke, half as if this works, let's roll with it. We started applying to places that were hiring. And if we got the job, we were going to throw it in our boss's lap and go, hey, you got to get us on in this market because they've already hired us. And we did it in Des Moines. And then we started listening to Moose and whatever, their morning show before you guys. Moose and Nadia.
Yeah,
and
Moose and Nadia.
Right, and we were picking on them and having fun with them. I mean, you're a Portnoy fan. You're probably a Stern fan. We were doing that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So Opie and Anthony, Jocktober kind of stuff. So we start doing that, and then they hire you guys, and we start listening to that one day. And again, I got to say this about Heather and that Tori. It was a beautiful hatchet job. They dug the dagger right into my back. They twisted it. I got to tell you, as a guy who likes mocking people, that was a beautiful job they did. I give them all the credit in the world.
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh,
they blew the doors off with that one. You got me too'd hard, dude. You got me too'd. I came home after that and told my wife, I'm like, Jesus Christ, remind me never to get on that girl's bad side.
Oh my God.
But the funniest part was, as bad as what we said was, and the worst thing the company did was make us take down all the audio.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the audio in context, it's all, and this was kind of our show in general and still is, we always play ourselves up as the dumb guy, the bad guy. So after we'd say those horrible things that were on the clip, we'd go like, this is so stupid. What the hell are we doing?
This is funny.
And we're like, this is just funny.
Yeah.
This is dumb.
Yeah.
And they cut all that out.
That didn't make the little 6-minute clip she made, did
Right,
it?
it didn't make the cut.
And again, I'm not mad because the way this is going now, I mean, we've been joking that we're going to send Heather and Saga Communications flowers because of how well this is going. But at the time, like now that I look back, I can go, wow, I have a weird appreciation for what they did. So I want to ask, the day we went after you guys was... Because Heather says in articles she wasn't personally offended. And our thing was she started hitting back at us. So we thought, oh, this is fun. We got like a real beef going. Because when we've done this to other people, they've never responded. It's just block, go away, ignore it. She was fighting back. They're in their basement, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, we're having fun. And then they dug that dagger in. What did she lead on that day that she was upset about this at all?
Well, I think that was our second Friday. You know, we were just finishing up our second week. I hadn't been on the air for 10 years, so this was all a crazy whirlwind for me, dude. I've had some crazy shit happen on the air before, but nothing like this. And here I am, barely 2 weeks into the damn thing, and I'm getting roasted, you know. And, you know, yeah, we were both pissed about it.
Oh, really?
And then it was Saturday night, when she came up with the idea to do a blog post, and she had she was in all these women radio groups and stuff, and I was like, okay. And I didn't know about the Tory part or anything.
Yeah.
I didn't find out about that till a few days later, but yeah, she put together a nice little package on you guys.
Yeah, she did. So I'm guessing by that you just kind of went along. You don't seem like the kind of guy who's like, yeah, let's get him. So she started doing it, and you're just kind of like, all right, whatever.
Right. What do you do?
Well, I was like, you know, screw these guys. Yeah, it did piss me off a little. She conveniently didn't put any of the clips of anything. He didn't say a whole lot of bad stuff about me. He said I sounded dead inside, which was probably true. This pandemic has killed me, and corporate radio. Even 2 weeks in, I was already kind of feeling a bad vibe in that joint right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And but you know, I let it slide off my back, and they kept bringing it up, and I was getting very tired of talking about it because I was like, dude, I told my wife, I'm like, this guy Aaron, regardless of what he said, he's got the glow, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes one to know one. Bubba, when you were talking to Bubba, he kept saying you cut through. He's saying the same thing.
Yep.
You got the glow, and you shine, and you cut through these breaks. You got what it takes, and I felt, to be honest, I felt a little bad for you because you're one of me.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, it was.
And I liked how Bubba took you under his wing, and but they just kept coming up, and it just snowballed worse and worse. And I just wanted the shit to go away because it wasn't doing anything for us through the speakers, you know.
Yeah.
Des Moines didn't know about us. They didn't care about us. We weren't going to get any extra listeners because of it. It was all going viral in the trades, and I could give two craps about the trades. Okay.
Right.
I haven't been looking for. I didn't apply for this job. They came to me. You know, and once this job ends, which it just did on Wednesday morning when I walked out and told them to kiss my ass.
Congratulations.
Thank you, by the way. I don't know who you are, but thank you very much.
Fish, I'm working with a woman. I had to, you know, this was an equal opportunity hire. I had to prove.
Idea.
Yeah, we have different co-hosts. We have different co-hosts every day. We have a rotation of 3 or 4 guys, and I had to get a girl. Right, otherwise, you know, I'm done out of the gate.
Yeah, they'll me too your ass again, dude. But,
I'm still looking for a black guy so I can really be protected.
There you go. You gotta get an Asian guy. You gotta get them all in there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I just wanted this whole steel toe show thing to go away, and they kept like calling us up for interviews, and I didn't really want to talk about it. Listen, on Wednesday night, the night before Thanksgiving, we get a call from the idiots at corporate. I'm sitting in here. I'm a few beers deep. You know, it's a big party night. The night before Thanksgiving, I'm on a 4-day weekend. My wife's in the kitchen prepping for Thanksgiving. Our kid, a little girl's running around like a chicken with her head cut off. We're having a good time. We got music going. We got some sports thing on the background and TV. I get a text from Heather about 8 o'clock. She's like, hey, corporate wants us to meet down at the station right now and do a video thanking all of her supporters about the steel toe show thing.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, no.
Dude.
I'm like, First of all, I've been drinking. I'm not driving anywhere. Second of all, this is my family time, sucker. This is the night before Thanksgiving. I was already tired, so tired of talking about the Steel
Right,
Toe
you could
Morning
give a
Show.
shit less.
I wanted to let it go. I wanted to focus on our show, and that's what we should have been doing. You know, we were brand new. Who cares about all this other stuff? Let it go. And so I told corporate, no, I'm not going to do it. So she went and did it by herself. I don't know if you ever saw that video or not.
No,
we didn't.
We were busy. I mean, honestly,
like,
after we quit on Tuesday, because they offered to bring us back, but they said, we want your Twitch, we want your Facebook. They didn't know that I had bought the copyright to Steel Toe. I owned the Steel Toe Morning Show. And the minute they asked for that, I said, well, you can delete all that, fire me anyway, and I can't talk to my audience. And so we said, you know what? We're pushing all our chips in the middle on Twitch. We're going there. So people use the word fired. We were offered a chance to come back. We said no. So it was more of a resignation, but a resignation we didn't have a choice in.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what just happened to me after these endless meetings we've been having for the past 2.5 months. It's just been like slowly beating me down. I think they were wanting me to get out for some reason. I don't know, these suits that don't even live here anyway. But, you know, and that whole thing, that was just another example. It's just one small example and the bullshit that was going on. It ruined our whole Thanksgiving, you know, because I was just like, now I'm going to get in trouble for not doing this video. I'm brand new still. You know, I hadn't even been there for a month yet. And, you know, it was always something with these guys, and you bring that darkness into your house.
Yeah,
this darkness was riding me like a demon on my back. Sometimes you could see it in the reflection of a passing window, or sometimes on your shadow when the sun was hitting right. And I'm bringing that son of a gun into my house, and my wife didn't deserve that. My kid didn't deserve that, and I didn't deserve that.
Dude,
and
that's
finally had enough of it.
That's ballsy, man. That takes a lot of people don't understand when that stuff is a cancer in your household, the balls it takes to actually leave something like that. A lot of people just live that out and it ruins their whole life. So kudos for you in doing that. I do want to ask you, because you had the right idea. Like, as a radio guy, I can tell you were right, they're wrong, and I think history always proves these things. They're going to crash and burn if they haven't already. They don't even have ratings. You were right. You got to build your show. You can't radio has this thing where they think viral clicks equal ratings, and they so don't. It's the grind of what you do every day on your show that gains you an audience. It's a slow build. You had the right idea. So was she like, after this whole thing, I understand, I'm not blaming her for it, but you can get caught up in this stuff. Did she get kind of caught up and swept up by corporate and like kind of get propped up as, oh, you're this new hero for anti-bullying? Did you notice a change in her and Heather?
Well, that was, you're exactly right. And that's why I wanted to focus on the show, because I'm like, this is filling your head a little bit. You know, you kind of become the poster child for this whole thing, and everybody's reaching out to her with apologies and stuff. And that's all fine and everything, but I wanted to focus on the show because, like I said, it's not coming through on the speakers. We're still brand new. The story made the Des Moines Register. Nobody in this town even knew who we were at this point. We'd only been there for a few weeks. They don't care. You know, we didn't even have anybody call in about it. It's not like we were some long-standing radio show and all the listeners were pissed off about it.
Right.
They were pissed about the Moose Show getting canned ahead of us. You know, and on top of everything else, every other phone call is like, "What happened to Moose?" Yeah,
right. So all this stuff is going on.
What do you think happened, idiot?
He left like I did.
Right.
So all this stuff is going on. She's getting her head swelled up by this whole thing. Meanwhile, the market you need to be focused on making waves in is not even talking about it.
No, they're not.
Jeez.
Outside of the Des Moines Register article, that didn't make. You know, it was people from all over the country and in the business and the industry that were reaching out to both of us. And it was mainly her getting reached out. Hardly anybody reached out. Just a couple of my few old radio friends, you know, saw it in passing because it was on All Access, Radio Inc., and all the trade stuff. But me, I didn't care about it. I thought it was a distraction, and it was.
Yeah, and I mean, look what happened. I mean, you were absolutely. I mean, it's amazing to talk to these other radio people who get it and understand it, and it's scary for I wish radio would pay attention to guys like me, guys like you, because we say these things, and it's so clear as day. And and look what happens. Guys like you and I get it, and we leave the goddamn business. So all they're left with is the people that say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Yes. They go along to get along, and meanwhile, they're killing the business. They're
filling the buildings with an army of vanilla robots. and they wanted me to sound exactly. Look, we had a huge meeting. We have a big meeting every week with this guy named Randy Lane from the Randy Lane Company. He's a big time consultant. He lives out in L.A.
Okay.
He just told me on this past Tuesday told me a funny story about Bubba. But he's like, you can't be the shock jock anymore. And they've been trying to break me of doing all this stuff for the past few weeks. And I was like, I just kept saying no. And so then this time they had our on the Zoom call, they had our director of group programming at Saga, a guy by the name of Scott Chase, on. And these two guys in tandem, Scott's like, hey, I drank the Randy Kool-Aid, and I'm liking it. Whatever Randy says goes. So that's when I knew in this hour and a half meeting after our show on Tuesday that it was game over for me. Okay, it's just lights out London.
Yeah.
This Randy guy told me, he's like, you can't be the shock jock anymore. Okay, those days are over. And his advice on how to do all this radio stuff was so outdated. It's the same bull crap they've been doing for decades. You know, he peaked in the 90s. He's still coming up with these stupid benchmarks. You know, they want us to do like a joke of the day and stupid news. And I hate benchmarks. They want us to tease every 5 seconds like Ryan Seacrest. Ryan Seacrest spends most of his show teasing, and then he finally gets to what he's teasing, and you're like, damn, all that for that? That was nothing. That was a stupid little story.
Right.
And so this Randy Lane guy is like, him and Scott Chase, like, you need to be the cool dad. You can't be the shock jock anymore. I'm like, cool dad. And I'm not kidding you. Aaron. They're like, you need to start telling dad jokes.
No.
I'm like, what? I don't even know any dad jokes. And they're like, look, the shock jock thing is done. Bubba the Love Sponge is done. Mancow is done. And then Randy went on to tell us this story about how Bubba just flew out there recently to talk with Randy, this Randy Lane guy.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do some coaching with Randy, and then he wanted Randy to put in some phone calls and get him back on the terrestrial radio. I don't know why he wanted to get back on radio, but he did, if what Randy's saying is true. And Randy just laughed. He's like, I made a few calls. Nobody wants that guy. He's done.
Yeah.
He's never coming back. I bet if Bubba knew that he was even telling us that, he'd be pissed, because I guarantee you the Randy guy took Bubba's money, and then he's bad-mouthing him to us in a Zoom meeting with 6 people on Tuesday, telling me the shock jocks are dead.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew the writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
I went in there Wednesday morning, and the whole drive there, you know, the closer I got to that station, the more the darkness, it was inside me, and it was crippling my glow. You know, it's hard to shine when you're getting crapped on every 5 seconds by idiots who don't get it.
Well,
and I got in that studio, and I looked at that board. I looked at that microphone that I was going to be taking. I was running the board, and I was just like, I just couldn't do it. I was just like, Heather's in there. I'm like, I got to apologize, Heather. And she's like, for what? And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not feeling this vibe. And I'm slowly taking off my keys, my key fob to get in the building. I'm taking off my key to get in the office, and I put them on the little breakfast bar thing there.
Wow.
And I'm just like, listen, I apologize, but this isn't for me. This isn't the right direction for me and my family. She already knew I was unhappy, so she got it.
Yeah.
She didn't really try to stop me or anything. And I told her, here's what you do, okay? You're going to run this board. You're just going to do a simple, like, normal midday show, okay? Keep it sweet. Plug in some extra music. Don't mention my name. Don't run any Fish and Heather sweepers. Pretend I never existed, and just limp through this until the program director can get in here, and you all can have 10 meetings today, later on, and every day afterwards.
Wow.
And you know, so I didn't leave her hanging too hard, but I just couldn't get behind that microphone again after that meeting on Tuesday. And that was just one meeting out of several that beat me down.
That, you know what, honestly, what he's telling me right now sounds a lot like my experience at Lakeland Broadcast. It's just so weird how this business is so uniform and the same everywhere that he's describing I spent a month at Lakeland Broadcasting before I went to 101, and it was, I swear to God, Fish, they hired me. I was doing kind of I hate when they use the term shock jock. That's such a gaslighting term, because what shock jock basically means is you speak your mind, you talk about stuff, you bullshit, you try to be funny. That's it. You know,
You're authentic.
You're authentic.
Yeah,
That's
authentic.
it. But you understand, though, these consultants and these station owners, the reason they discourage that is because that then becomes a popular entity they can't control, and you can do something like we did or like Bubba did and go digital and bring your audience. You can drain them of their audience. So instead of treating those guys well and letting them do their thing, they do what they tried to do to you. They castrate them, make them what they want. Meanwhile, they don't get the audience, they don't get the ratings, but at least they have a guy they can control.
They just want a bunch of clones, really.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's a clone war army, and the thing is we just had a big meeting about how much money our particular group here in downtown Des Moines lost last year. You know, and this was with, of course, the pandemic and everything, and they just want to keep doing the same thing. You know, it's like doing the same thing isn't going to make you any extra money. You got to have a hit morning show that's going to knock some balls out of the park.
Yeah.
And they just want to keep doing the same. It's the definition of insanity. And last year they lost their asses, and that was with election dollars, state and local and state election dollars pouring through the speakers. And we didn't even have the pandemic for the first 3 months. I can pretty much guarantee you this year is going to be pandemic the whole year. There's not going to be any election dollars. I don't agree with their business model. And part of my reason for speaking up against these corporate suits, look, I don't have any problem with the people at the Des Moines Radio Group here in downtown Des Moines. I really don't. They were always very cool to me, and for the most part, welcomed me with open arms. It's the corporate bullies, and these guys were bullies that I have a problem with. And I'm going to speak out against them because I'm not trying to get back into radio. Go ahead and smear my name. I don't care.
Good.
You know, now do I want to necessarily be the poster boy for saving live and local radio? You know, I don't know. Not really. I just want to go back to doing what I was doing before this, and that's writing horror novels. And with any luck, score my third New York Times USA Today bestseller.
There you
that's
go.
what I like doing.
That's
I like that rush.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. And
you can go to
anytime.
my-
go. I was just going to say, anytime you need us to promote your stuff, you just send us a link. We'll post it.
Yeah, you're a friend of the show. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can go check out my Amazon page. I write horror under my real name, Sean Thomas Fisher. That's Sean. And at the behest of my wife a few years ago, I started writing romance novels under a female pen name called Caitlin Cross. Caitlin with a K and Cross with a C. And I've had 2 of those books hit the New York Times. I've had a handful of others chart hard on Amazon, you know, but it's not always guaranteed money. It comes and goes. But I like my chances.
But you feel good about what you're doing, don't you?
Yeah. Well, make
Yeah, and exactly. And I'm the boss at this place, in this house. And it's safe here. And my boss is the coolest boss in town. I guarantee it because it's me.
Yeah. We know what that's like now. It's the best. And you send me a message. Send me a message with any links, and then next week we'll put it all over the chat and the pages and everything like that. We want to make sure that takes off. And I mean,
right on, man. That's cool.
I'm getting PTSD from you describing your situation. It's unreal. This
I know it does sound very similar.
I feel like look, there's a crap ton of people across this country that could relate to what I'm saying, but nobody ever says anything because they're not necessarily in a position. See, like Heather, she moved here and she bought a house before we even went live on the air. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you bought a house. That's a ballsy move. I'm not sure about that move because now you're beholden to them. You're anchored down. You got this weight around your neck, you know, whereas I was already had something going. My wife's got a sweet job. You know, we make a little off the books here and there. We were okay. I could afford to quit and it wasn't going to crush me. I wasn't going to lose, you know, our cars are paid off. I wasn't going to lose our house or anything. So I'm like, and it's like they didn't realize it. They still treated me like I moved here from Seattle and I have nowhere else to go, and they freaking know it. You know, they made a mistake.
Isn't that a great feeling, though, when you know you don't need them and you can quit in front of them? I mean, the looks on their faces must have been great, right? I mean, even Heather's to an extent. I mean, she had to be shocked. The company had to be shocked. That had to feel good, right?
Well, she was the only one I saw that day. And I told her to tell everybody I don't have any hard feelings against anybody there. Don't try to call me or text me today because I'm not going to be answering my phone. I didn't want to talk to any of them. And I still haven't, actually. So I will here eventually. My program director was a very cool guy who I worked with before, and he got it. But unfortunately, he had zero power when it came inside the building. It was these corporate guys that didn't even live in Des Moines calling all the shots.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy when you sent me the message that you said you were right. Fuck this radio. It sucks. It's dead.
Yeah.
I was both happy, but also a little heartbroken because I'm like, I put this fucking guy through the ringer, even though, like you said, I never really said much about you, but I said, I put this fucking guy through the ringer and he's a friend. He's an ally. Like, he gets it. He understands. So I got to, honestly, I got to extend an apology to you over the whole thing if it caused you any problems, because you were a guy who was working from the inside like I was, who maybe could have made a difference. But honestly, Sean, I don't know if we could have made a difference because they don't want us. They don't want you and I.
No, they don't. They don't. And you don't have to apologize. It wasn't a big deal for me. I mean, it was a little exciting for a couple minutes, but then it just became a distraction. But You're right. They don't want guys like us, and they're making a mistake. They want guys from like the 90s. They want they want like a John Tesh. They want everybody to be like Bobby friggin' Bones.
Yeah.
A vanilla robot sent from the past to destroy live and local radio.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and they're taking over. And wait till you see who they replace me with. I have no idea who it's going to be, but I can tell you right now, it's going to be a yes man. It's going to be another vanilla robot coming in there, just like yes sir, no sir, yes sir.
It'll be fun to watch.
They'll be doing dad jokes. I mean, did it kill your soul when they told you should do dad jokes and be the fun dad? Did you get that sinking feeling in your gut when they said that?
Oh well, I'd already had it because they wanted me to do benchmarks, and I told them, look, I want to be more like a podcast. Like a Joe Rogan type thing where you don't really do benchmarks. You're not really teasing a whole lot. You're just kind of, I like to shoot from the hip and improv. Look, you're a comedian. You're good at that. When you got the glow, you can get away with it. And sometimes it's hard for other people to keep up. But that's what the formula I wanted to do. I wanted to do something modern and fresh and mess with people on the phones. I wanted to do interviews, and do hot button topics. And keep it as local as possible. And they wanted me to do benchmarks so they could sell them. I'm like, hey, how about you just sell an extra couple of commercials in the stop set and quit trying to it's going to be like, the stupid joke of the day brought to you by State Farm Insurance or something. It's come on.
Yeah, so basically you were telling them, hey, I'd like to be like podcasting this. Hey, I'd like to be like the thing people are listening to right now.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what they said?
What?
You know what they said when that happened? We were on a Zoom call. Our operations manager in-house got pissed. She walked out, and then she called us in for a meeting the next day and was going to write us up for talking against Randy Lane, the consultant.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I'm like, and Heather's like, I thought this was going to be a discussion and not like a dictatorship. She had a very good line that next day, and they're like, it is a discussion. I'm like, really? Because it doesn't sound like it to me. We threw out what we wanted to do. We threw out the vibe we were feeling, and you're going to write us up for
man.
I mean, it wasn't argumentative. It was polite. It was well-spoken, and this is what we wanted to do. I threw in my ideas. I already had them all ready to go because I knew they were starting to slip to the morning zoo side of that thing.
Yeah.
And they were going to write us up. My PD had to talk our OM off the ledge, and he got her to chill. And so we had, we were having meetings about meetings. That's what's going on
that's
now.
Gross.
Well, yeah, like I said, they don't want guys like you and I in there. You tried, and they wouldn't listen. Now, it sounds like Heather was a little bit of an ally at first, maybe. Now, after the anti-bullying stuff, and like you said, she got the shine from that, was she like, I'm not saying she was against you, but was she more amenable to what corporate wanted versus fighting for what you were fighting for?
Oh, yeah, big time.
Okay, all right.
Like I said, she moved here from Seattle. She bought a house. She's locked and loaded. She's got an anchor around her neck now.
Yeah.
She's got to play it right. Whereas, unfortunately for her, I was on the other side of the fence where I could go footloose and fancy free.
Right.
I could afford to take some chances. And I thought that after they lost so much money, and it's not just this radio company here in town that's lost money, it's radio stations across the whole country last year that lost a ton of money. I figured after losing so much money, they'd want to take some chances and try something different, something fresh, something cool, a little more on the hip side, a little more Theo Vaughn, a little less Bobby Bones. Nope. Yeah. They wanted me to come in and out. This Randy guy told me exactly what to say, coming in and out of breaks. It was a sandwich theory. It was a series of events. Each break, very robotic, and I just couldn't do it, man. I'm coming in and out of breaks. I'm playing like my favorite songs and talking over them. They're like, you can't play a Jay-Z song and talk over that anymore. I'm like, why?
Come on.
They're like, just play a bed, an in-house bed, some boring bed, that doesn't get. I wanted to have a party and get people up and going.
Right, something
I'm playing
exciting.
Jay-Z, I'm playing Kanye.
Yeah.
They weren't getting it. I thought it was cool to me hearing some of that stuff on LAZR, and I'm not playing the whole song. I'm just using it for a bed. And they're like, you can't do that anymore. And that was one of my favorite things to do because I was good at it.
Yeah. I tell you what, man, hearing your stories, relating to it, knowing what you wanted to do, what I wanted to do, and knowing that they're going to write you up for it when you try to take them in the right direction. Is there any other way to describe radio today? But it's a death cult. It really is. They're all going down with the ship.
Yeah. Yeah. And when I knew that they were going to write us up for that, and they wanted me to do these benchmarks, then they wanted me to be the cool dad and start doing dad jokes, I was just like, okay, there's no light at the end of the tunnel here. The tunnel is just turned all black.
That's disgusting.
I've got no future here. I'm wasting my time. Meanwhile, I'm getting up in the middle of the night. It's frickin' 6 below. There's 10 feet of snow. It's like 27 below. Feels like temp out today. And I'm dragging my ass into that station for what? I'm missing my family. Wake up in the morning. I don't get to wake my daughter up and send her to school anymore.
Right.
It's little things like that I miss, but I was willing to sacrifice that to put on a great show and have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
In this town, Des Moines, Iowa, deserves better than what they've been getting.
Would you be upset because we're spending our advertising dollars right now, our marketing dollars? Would you be upset if we bought a billboard near Sega Communications?
Would I be upset?
Yeah.
What would it say?
It would just be a promotion for the show, and it would say, thank you, Heather.
Yeah, that sounds funny.
Yes, good. All right,
Okay.
Fish is on board. Fish is on board. I'm okay. And then, I didn't tell you. We're going to put Fish told me to do it. No, I'm just kidding. We'll put that on the board. No, I'm really glad you're doing well. I'm really glad you made the decision you did. You're going to be so much better off. It's going to be so much more fun. Like you said, you're the boss now. I'm so glad you reached out. I'm so glad you're on the show today. And we're going to bring you back. I want to do some things. Let's stay in touch because I've got some ideas. I'm notorious for just bringing shit up as soon as I think of it. So I'm actually going to sit on these and bake it and actually present my ideas orderly this time. But I do want to stay in touch with you, and because the audience loves you. I mean, our chat is going nuts right now. They think they thought that this show was the only person who thought this way about radio. They like hearing another guy say it. So
No, I know it's not. I've already been the victim of this before. I've been victimized like this before by corporate bullies, and hopefully this will be the last time because I have no desire to get back into radio after pouring my heart and soul into that show. And I gave them my entire family. My mom, the original church lady, was on the show once a week. My wife was on the show once in a while. My kid's been on the show a few times. I gave them everything, and all I got was crapped on. Every time I turned the corner, I got smacked in the face by these guys.
Shit.
And it's the end of live and local radio. And that's why I'm going to speak up, and I'm going to expose these guys so that whoever wants to think about taking a job here with Soccer Communications thinks again, because this is what's waiting for you. Wow. The gallows.
Yeah. Bravo, man.
Good
hey,
on you.
Fish, thank you very much. This isn't the last time we'll talk, buddy. I really appreciate you giving us your time.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, and I definitely love to talk again sometime.
Yes, congratulations again.
Absolutely, and take it easy, buddy.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it, man.
Have a great day, man.
I'll be listening now that I got extra time on my hands.
Yeah, there you go. People are already in the chat. They're begging to gift you a subscription. So you get on Twitch, and they'll take care of you.
I know where to find you. I will too. I appreciate it. And you got the glow. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. And I really hope things work out for you.
All right, and good luck with the writing too. That sounds like a lot of fun.
All right, thanks, brother.
All right, have a good
you.
one. There's Fish.